Now, how did the molecules of life arise?
And we go a little something like this. Hit it.
Often enough to be noticeable, I get emails or comments or social media DMs from some dude or other suggesting that I seem to have my life together in some sort of way, and I might have something valuable in terms of insight or assistance to offer other men. I do some mentoring privately, generally to do with my gaming work, but not the kind of sort of life advice that I guess they're looking for. And I certainly don't feel like I have it together or have anything particularly useful to offer anybody. You know, I've no ambition whatsoever to become some sort of off-brand Andrew Tate or Pearl, and I tend to find those sorts of podcasts and things to be rather shallow and somewhat offensive to the intellect. But frankly, I think if you're coming to me for any sort of life advice, I think you're barking entirely up the wrong tree. You know, I don't have a life philosophy exactly. I have an elaborate and loosely interwoven series of personal coping mechanisms, and what will work for me will not necessarily work for you. I think everyone's lifestyle, everyone's set of coping mechanisms has to be bespoke because everyone is different. You know, you can say a few, very few, general things about men or women as a demographic or whatever else as a demographic, but I think it all comes down very much to the individual, and that is why I think a lot of advice is virtually worthless unless you're coming at it as a buffet. Pick things here and there that work for you. But if you're coming to me, a mentally ill, somewhat crippled, not infrequently suicidal, childless, middle-aged man for life advice, then I think you have far bigger problems than I have any qualifications to help you with. You know, I'm not best placed to give you life advice, financial advice, hustle advice. I'm not best placed to give you romantic advice, having been married 20 years and having been a walking disaster in my dating life before that, used, abused, and refused. I don't have answers for you. You're not me. I'm not you. And I don't think anybody else has answers either. Certainly not people like Tate. But everyone's looking for easy answers, and there are no shortage of people who are willing to give you easy answers or to sell you easy answers, at least. So I think the best advice I could give anyone is don't do that. Find your own way. Chaos magic. Do what works. Whatever that is. Discover what works for you. So I don't think the answer is to be found in the likes of the hustle culture and PUA types. You can't teach luck. Hustle culture is vapid and exploitative, and if you're paying to learn it, you're being hustled. Pickup culture is hollow. You might want to get your dick wet, but what price are you willing to pay for that? And you don't want to be with someone longer term, just for the sake of being with someone. You want someone, in the end, ultimately, who likes the real you as you really are. And you won't get that through their techniques and ideas. Do you really want someone so vapid and shallow that the only value they see in you is the cost of the watch on your wrist or the car that you drive? I don't think so. And do you really, in your heart of hearts, want to exploit people for money in the way that Tate and his ilk do? On the surface level, it's maybe attractive, but doesn't your conscience bother you? And if it doesn't, again, I think you have bigger problems. What we need and what we haven't had is the same kind of change that women have had. One where multiple paths and life choices as men are considered valid, understood, and accepted. And that acceptance has to primarily be driven by women, not even other men. Because men will change. Men will move mountains in order to please women. Generally speaking, of course, obviously. You know, the intellectual, the artist, the house husband, the bohemian, these need to be seen and accepted while not displacing the more traditionally masculine sorts of roles as well. We need an apparatus that understands and supports men in the ways that they differ from women, rather than treating them as broken women, and which understands men's tendencies as a group for self-sacrifice and forbearance, and which puts the work in to help people who don't necessarily want to be helped or understand that they need to be helped. Now, I can't give any of you that. I can't change the world or society, and my forays into men's issues in the past have been met with aggressive hostility, slander, and great personal cost. So I'm wary to get back into that space at all, especially given how the men's rights platform and portion has been even further demonized in more recent years, and has spun off into the right wing, where they can get some modicum of attention and political clout. I mean, you understand why, but it's not for me. If I were held at gunpoint and forced to give men, especially young men, any sort of advice, I guess it would be this. First, you need to understand yourself, who, what you are, why you're the way that you are, what you genuinely want from life, what you're good at, what makes you happy. You need to live as authentically as you can to be the real you once you understand what that might be. I think that's tremendously fulfilling. It's not enough in and of itself, but it is a powerful thing to just be yourself. We wear so many masks in the world that you need somewhere where you can just be yourself. Life is too short for shame, and being shamed will rob you of that sense of authenticity, and it will rob you of opportunity, and it will prevent you from doing things that make you happy. Guilt is different to shame. Shame is something imposed. Guilt comes from inside you and is worth examining, but being shamed for your hobbies, your choices, the things that make you happy, nah, life's too short. find your groove, find that thing that makes you happy, not what makes you rich or attractive or whatever else, the thing that makes you happy. And if you can do that, do that. If you can't do that, just do it as much as you can, even if you're not good at it. Right? That's the source of your joy, and as much of a reason for existence as you can really say that there is. Be there for others. I think this is quite a masculine trait. See, even if you can't fix yourself or your problems, often helping someone else is almost as good and will make you feel better anyway, as well as helping other people make their own lives better. I would remind you, again, gun to my head, that people generally are better than you think. They have their reasons, they have their experiences, and everyone deserves at least a couple of chances. And that can be mathematically proven. So try and be forgiving within reason to people. After all, you would like to be forgiven. But again, I don't think I have anything of value to really offer here, and I don't really want to be part of this space, but I feel like I owe it to the people that keep contacting me to offer something, and so this is it. Maybe I'll revisit some of this later on, but again, I am not really someone who is an exemplar of any sort of success or a winning lifestyle or anything like that, and so I don't think you should be coming to me. I don't think you should be going to anybody and expecting answers. You should be seeking them yourself and putting together something, anything, whatever happens to work for you. Sang. A problem for every games master has always been coming up with adventure ideas. For years now, Postmortem Studios has been helping out with the 100 Adventure Seeds line. These provide adventure ideas for all genres, and you can get them at RPG Now or Lulu.com.